Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 281 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
My name's Barbara. You still got a little quirky today.
Well, it's Friday, you know. I'm excited. It's been a busy week.
I know.
I'm excited for the weekend.
Yeah.
Really, my plans are nil, and that makes me more excited.
Well, I have an attitude of gratitude today, so.
Uh-oh.
I just
What's
woke
that?
up and said, I'm going to have a good damn day, and I'm going to be grateful. So, yeah, I'm the same way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way back in the beginning of the year, and I'm sure you remember, but we did an episode with the wonderful Laura Gilbert from Ivoclar that was talking about all the upcoming Lab Day Chicago festivities that we were going to be a part of. And on that episode, Laura brought along a dentist that was part of what they called the Influencer Corner, Dr. David Rice.
Yep.
During that episode, I think we both kind of hit Dr. Rice with some questions that every lab wants to ask their doctors, but they're afraid to because they might end up losing their business. You know, things like, why do you obviously send us crappy impressions?
I do not know. Like, really? Yeah.
We had this chance to ask someone that wasn't a client, so why not?
I know.
Turns out Ivoclar kind of liked it, and they decided to put together a 3-part LinkedIn webinar series where Dr. Rice and I will cover all of these annoying issues between clinics and labs. I'm super excited for it. Yeah. It's kind of putting me on the hot seat, I'll tell you.
Yeah. You like it there, though.
I'm going to put him there, too.
Good.
So, the first one is September 14th. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's live. So if you want to join us, everybody can participate. And honestly, we want all of you to participate. And I want all of the lab industry to show up and support and help me justify what we do.
Nice.
So there's a link on this episode's show notes. Or if you just want to look for me on LinkedIn, you can also find the link. That's a lot of links.
Yeah, it is.
So hopefully we can get to the root of some of the challenges that we have between us.
No pun intended.
Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, so we've got 2 weeks until the great race for the future.
Well, let me ask you, Barb. You've bought a bike.
Oh,
You bought a kickboard. Are you improving on your times? Are you riding faster, swimming faster?
I don't know. I'm not going to know until the race because I don't time myself. But like yesterday morning, I went for a 10-mile bike ride, 4-mile run, and then back on the bike for 5 miles. Tonight, I am swimming a half a mile, actually 3/4 of a mile. Tomorrow, I'm going to run 8 miles. So everything's just, flowing for me right now, and I'm cross-training. So I don't know. We'll see.
It sounds like you should see some major improvement. You're doing everything.
Well, I got a little mouthy last year, and I wanted to place. And now this year, I'm just focused on training really hard and trying to raise as much money as I can and just going and doing my thing and keeping my mouth shut, not being So we'll see. Until you ask, of course.
Basically the opposite of what I'm doing in the webinar.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, we would love to have some fans come to the race and cheer us on, but you know what they say. If you can't join them, give them money. Give her money. So head over to this episode's show notes for a link on how you can sponsor us as we tackle the Chicago Triathlon and raise money for the Foundation for Dental Laboratory Technology. And hopefully we'll both do well.
Yeah.
And our team.
Absolutely. I'm not going to be on a bike to fall off of, so win before I even start.
All right.
So this week brings back a past guest and old friend, Vaughn Groh. If you've ever heard of the DTG, or what they are called the Dental Technicians Guild, then you probably know about Vaughn. If not, we encourage you to go back and listen to all 3 episodes he was on pretty much 5 years ago. Back then, DTG held a yearly symposium that was legendary with their speakers and hands-on courses. Well, because of life and COVID, there's not been a symposium since 2018.
Oh my God, really? That's crazy.
But it's back and looking better than ever. Vaughn comes on to talk all about the upcoming show that's happening September 15th and 16th But joining Vaughn are two of the guests that will be speaking at the symposium. First up is Hugo Hebert from the French side of Canada that talks about how he got into the industry, how he discovered the DTG, and what he's talking about at the symposium. Also joining us is, I'm going to butcher his name, and I do it in the interview, and he's okay with it, and he'll correct us all later. Firas? I already don't know. Firas Dahbour, a world traveling technician from Jordan. Firas also talks about his journey to the DTG and some techniques he'll be sharing on stage. So join us as we chat with Von Gro, Hugo Hebert, and Firas Dahbour. What's the worst part about getting into digital in dentistry? That's not having the support that you need. And did you know that Ivoclar has digital equipment sales specialists? These experienced professionals, now these are people that have been doing this for a while. They're here to help make your transition to digital a smooth one. Don't waste your time with anyone else. They help provide customized solutions, analyze your ROI, provide hands-on assistance, and localized support. All of this catered to your needs. Let's be honest, when we're into digital, most of us have a lot of needs. Contact a digital equipment sales specialist today by emailing digitalspecialist@ivoclar.com. Tell them you heard it here on the podcast, and always, Ivoclar, we appreciate your support. Voices from the Bench. The interview. I usually get I can't stand the sound of my voice.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
And I'm like, well, okay, you have an option to listen to it. If you choose not to, it goes out as is. Everybody ready to get started?
Yeah. Yep.
We're super excited today. We're bringing back, Vaughn, I don't think you realize how long it's been since you've been on. Von Gro, DTG.
I think I looked back, Elvis, and it was like episode 17 or something like that.
18,
okay.
19, and 20. Congratulations. You're the only person on this podcast to be split into 3 episodes. It is an honor to have you back, sir. Von Gro from Dark Horse Dental Studios and the founder of the DTG. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you. That was a long time ago, but I remember specifically where I was sitting when I did that interview with you.
It's been a long time. I mean, here we are. God, I mean, that was within our first year. Now we're 5 years later. It's been too long.
Yeah. How many episodes now?
As of this recording, we're releasing 276.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going strong. But glad to have you back and glad to have you come back on to talk about the exciting DTG Symposium, which is also back for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it's back after COVID. I mean, COVID was a big, long break for everybody.
Sure.
The last one we had was 2018. And then I went through some changes in business wise and in my personal life and quit doing them. 2019, we didn't do anything. And then 2020 is when COVID hit. But actually it ended up being good for me to take that long break. So
sure.
I feel like I was getting a little bit burned out on everything, to be honest. So I actually merged my business with my former employer, Mark Willis. And now we're partners here at Experience Dental Studio. So actually, Dark Horse Dental Studio doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened in 2019. And honestly, I needed a change because I was traveling way too much. I got young kids, 4 kids, and
sure. Yeah,
traveling too much. And I was doing the symposiums every year, and it was just draining me pretty bad. And so I just decided to quit doing it after 2018 for a while. And then luckily COVID came along. So then I just used that as an excuse like everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's COVID. It's a COVID thing, so.
I can't imagine doing all that you did to build up DTG, the symposiums. I remember the Vaughn talks every Wednesday. I mean, doing all that and owning a business. It must be a relief to kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, you bet it is. And it did just give me a nice long rest, to be honest. And then
Sure.
last year I was out in Chicago at the GC. Well, I was visiting Dan Boskasevic from GC.
Mm-hmm.
His family and my family are friends, so we flew out there and spent a week with him. And one of the days I went into the work with him into the GC facility. I had never been there before, but and they had this brand new nice like facility. And Dan was telling me, yeah, we just had this anniversary party here, and we fit this many people, and this is what we did. And he said, this facility's like open to you if you want to use it for something. And I was like, at first just kind of like, yeah, thanks. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then he's like, if you wanted to do like a symposium. And that was the first time I was like, I don't know, like that really like sunk in. I took a look around, and then Dan really got my wheels turning after that, because he's like, if you want, we could just host your symposium here. And I thought about all of the things that drained me before, Jeff Hamilton's my partner and all of everything I used to do that way. And
Sure.
yeah, I just took a look around. I took some video of the place, and then I sent it to Jeff, and I just contacted him. I was like, dude, do you want to do another symposium? Like, where are you at on that? And
Do you have plans on ever bringing it back before this connection with GC America?
okay, so honestly, like I wondered that myself. Like I was
Yeah.
seriously thinking of just saying, you know what? If you were there, you were there, but like the symposiums aren't going to happen anymore, because I just can't keep doing them, and that was just kind of part of the burned out feeling though, once I
Yeah.
had the big break, and then I still wasn't planning on doing one. I kind of wanted to, people were asking for us to do another one, but then that, that just was just happenstance, I mean, I found myself in that facility and just at that time and that place, and it just felt right after that. So I contacted Jeff, and when he said he was on board, then I said, okay, it's going to happen then. So,
It helps when you have a good location.
oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, that was the biggest headache. People don't realize, Elvis, they really don't. Somebody puts on a show and they're thinking like, oh man, these guys are rich. These guys, like they put on the symposium, they made millions of dollars off of this and that.
Yeah.
And it's like, unless you've ever done it, you really have zero idea what you're talking about, because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, to secure the venue, you got to come out of pocket a certain amount. You got to come out a certain amount for the food, and you haven't seen a dime from anybody. That's just what you have to start with. Then you got to get rooms for the hotels. They want money down to secure them on holding rooms for you. I mean, and then just a ridiculous amount of planning. Like, you just have to go there. You have to make sure everything's there, that the rooms are, the right microphones are there. Like, I mean, it goes on and on and on. I could never do it myself. That's a lot of the things that Jeff Hamilton did. Then you have to market the show.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
if you have vendors there, you got to get all of the vendors. You got to, make sure that they know what they're supposed to do and how much space they have. And I could just go on and on and on and on, but it's like I have mad respect for anybody that just says, I'm going to, do a show, like a dental show or any kind of a show.
Any show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'll never forget when I first found out how much it costs just to have coffee at at a venue, and it's just like,
yeah.
really, some cheap Folgers is that much, and it's
Yeah.
like hundreds of dollars.
I'll
I'm
tell
like,
you what,
it's
food,
hot water.
the food costs more than the venue. The more food that you buy, they'll lower the cost of the rental of the venue that you're at if you buy more food from them. They make most of their money from the food.
Oh, sure, because it's usually terrible hotel chicken. So, well, let's introduce who's with us,
Okay.
because we could go on for hours
Of
talking
course.
about setting up a symposium, but you brought on two speakers that you're having this year. Who do we have? We have Hugo.
How do you pronounce the last name, Hugo?
Yeah, how do you
Hugo
pronounce your
Hebert?
last name?
Hugo Hebert.
Hebert. Okay.
Hugo
Hebert.
Hebert.
Hebert, or
Hebert.
Hebert.
Okay.
in English,
Hugo Hebert.
Hebert, and in French,
Hebert.
because where I live is the French part of Canada, Quebec. So first language is French. I spell it Hebert.
Hebert. Let's just go with Hugo.
Yeah.
So, Hugo,
Yep.
give us a quick breakdown on kind of how you got into this industry, how you got connected with the DTG.
Yeah,
How did that all come to play?
So I graduated from the dental school in 2015, and basically I was truly passionate about the profession, and all the teachers in the school was telling me like, "Oh, you have a bright future. You're very special," blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And then one of the teacher was a member of DTG, Stefan Provenche, and then he just told me like, "Man, you should start sharing your work in the DTG affiliated group, and then just wait and see what's going on," because he saw in me like that I could be maybe a DTG member in the future. So I started doing that, and I think people have started to enjoy a little bit of what I was sharing. And then another friend of mine, Shukri Shemali, was a DTG member, and I think he spoke with Vaughn, and then it just started like this, right, Vaughn? You remember? I think it was in 2015.
Yeah, what I remember is this young kid showing up to the symposiums. Hugo just started coming to the symposiums and he started joining the WMDA competitions, like the crown building competition.
I was 19, I think, at that moment, 19 or 20
Yeah.
maximum. Yeah.
And he had so much energy. He was just like this kid, like everybody liked him immediately. Just big smile, like tons of energy. And just I mean, you could tell he had a passion for this industry, you know?
So, before you even were a member, you showed up at the
Oh, yeah.
symposiums.
Yeah. What I did first is Von asked me to do an article in the DTG magazine,
Oh, yeah.
and I did. I think it was in 2016, right, Von?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wait a minute. You graduated in 15 and you had an article in
Yeah.
16? Wow.
What it's funny about is I did the article at the same time as Yuki Moma, and now he's like one of my best friend. But at that moment, we didn't knew each other, so it's just funny to see that years after. But yeah, in 2016, I did that article, and then I think I become a member 2016 or 17.
And when you became a member, it's because your involvement with the group.
Yeah, I think Vaughn could speak a little bit about it. Why he introduced me?
Yeah, no, it's definitely both. I mean, it's both. It's, yeah, his involvement. He came into the group and just shared on the affiliates page, like he said, just started showing his work. So then
Yep.
some of the members were like, hey, who's this kid? You know, and of course, Shukri is a longtime member. So, of course, they put in good words for him. I met him at the symposium. I'm just like, man, there's like, we got to get this kid in the group. Like, eventually, you know, we just had to do it because we'd be stupid not to.
I can totally say that, like, the day I entered that group, just like a big kick for me, and like a big inspiration from all the guys over the group, and it just propels me more in the profession, and I think it gives me a lot of wings to go on, and then I'm always grateful for that. Yeah.
And now you own your own lab
Yes, sure.
in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you open that?
I started to work in this lab when I graduated from school, and then it was a pretty small lab. We were
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6, and then I started to work, and then put in my passion in my restoration and my work, and what it does is like bringing more clients, starting to share on social media, Instagram, and all of that, and then the business just grew up so much, and then we tripled the lab. with the
Wow,
years.
nice.
And now, since 4 years ago, we moved the lab into a bigger, nicer place. And then it's all brand new, pretty modern, and we have a lot of place. And then I bought the lab officially 1 year ago. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, and then it's just like we are 12 employees. Another one employees is coming, and I'm hiring like all the time. I need people.
Yeah.
I think every lab needs
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
So yeah, business is great. I have the chance to work with very nice doctors, prosthodontists. It's all doctors that came out to me because they said, we heard about you, we saw your work, you look very great, passionate about your profession. I never knock at any doors. It's just like the work's coming from everywhere. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have,
Yeah.
for sure.
You see, Elvis,
Yeah.
his teachers were right. They saw something in him and his talent, you know, and I love that we were able to find him and just watching his progress, you know, because he was, like you said, he was fresh out of school, and just to see him skyrocket. I mean, you noticed it in the work too, honestly. Like his first post to like where he is now, that's one of the best parts about the group, I feel like, is we're kind of documenting like where you were when you know,
Yeah.
started, you know,
Yeah.
making crowns to like where you're at now. And Hugo's one of those guys that you just see his work now and you're like, I mean, there's a very few people that can touch that kind of quality, you know?
Yeah, looking at it online and encouraging everyone to check it out. It's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
You do some beautiful work.
I honestly think that I had the hand and the passion, but I always try to push further, and I like never sit on my ass, like I could say. I always try to check on people that could inspire me and look at the new techniques, new ways to do the work better, and not only beautiful ceramic, but all the process, all the process of what we are doing. It's not only the look of the ceramic, it's the fit, it's the planning, it's the all in this digital world. Is pretty much crazy because things are going fast, but you got to be aware of what it's good and bad in the industry now. So I always try to focus on the best for every patient, and
Sure.
yeah, I think I will always try to move forward on the profession, and I never sit down. And yeah.
Most technicians can't sit still.
Yeah.
So awesome. Let's move on to our other guest. It was so long ago that I practiced your name that I already forgot. Firas?
Yeah.
Dahbour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's also difficult for me. Not always.
But you're coming to us from Jordan?
Yep. Yes.
That's exciting. We've never had anybody from that area on the podcast.
Yeah,
So welcome, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome. And as you see from the last years, I bring people to Jordan here as Vaughn, as Dr. Ed, as many Mitsutaka, as many DTG also members to make this connection. Yeah.
Nice. So Vaughn, you've actually gone out to Jordan?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. I mean, like nothing that I could have ever imagined, and was able to spend some time with Firas. I was there doing a course actually with another host, but I was able to see Firas several times, and yeah, we're talking about hopefully doing something again out there. But I never thought in my life, Elvis, that I would be traveling to those places, you know, on
Sure.
account of the group, you know, like, I mean, you make the connections and everything, and people think, oh, it's just an online, you know, it's just these guys online, whatever, but it's not. It's in person too.
Yeah, that's exciting. So Firas, how did you get into the industry and get connected with DTG?
Yes. So for me, my first years of my life were in Italy. So also it's difficult for me when I get back to Jordan when I was 15 years old. So also to learn, yeah, because here they are spoken Arabic spoken. So also it was difficult also for me.
This guy speaks like 5 languages. I've heard it.
I was gonna say
It's
you're
crazy.
pretty good with English.
No. That's why, because maybe I'm in US maybe 2 3 times per year, and also around the world from I don't know. Sometimes I make, for example, in 48 hours I make the round of 4 continents, 5 continents, something like that.
Wow.
I love to travel. That's big opportunity that also DTG give to me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
because my dream was to be a pilot, yeah, an air flight pilot. But for me, in the beginning, I were born in Italy, so you know the artistic touch, the Italian touch, not only the pizza,
Mm-hmm.
also the artistic influence. So also I was when I was a kid, I was always drawing, and you know nowadays I'm a 38 guy old, but before 20 years, that's what not too much about the artistic here in our university in Jordan or in this part of the Middle East. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to this university, so I saw some people that holding brushes, yeah, and you know it's like painting brush. So
Yeah.
so I asked about them. From where are you coming, guys? So they are coming from the lab. So what the lab that they have some brushes, yeah, cool brushes, yeah, painting brushes. So I entered this lab. Some of the guys are wearing, the lab coat, the thing that you wear in the lab, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I ask myself and I ask them. So you are a doctor? No. So you are a painter? No. So what you are? Yeah, we are a dental technician. So I get attracted from this type, especially that nobody from my family, and I never see a dental lab before that I studied this thing. So I studied for 4 years, and to be honest, I was maybe tried to kick from my university 3 times because you know my degrees are always low. I was
Oh, really?
yeah, I was very good in practice, but when to open a book, sorry, I can't open a book.
Yeah. Not your strong suit. I get you.
Yeah. But in the end, after 4 or 5 years, I end with this thing. So my first thing that to work was in the zircon, the old milling machine zircon, the manual one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was my first approach in this industry. And I don't know, maybe because I'm coming from Jordan. If you know, in Jordan we have a site that's called Petra. You know, it's that
Okay.
mountains that they are milled in the rocks. So for me, it was I don't know, maybe because maybe from my old grandfather or something that built the Petra. So now I can mill also zirconia. That was my point.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so Elvis, I almost had the chance to go down to Petra, but we ran out of time. But Petra
Hmm.
is down in the southern part of Jordan, and you'd know it if you saw it. It was in the latest Indiana Jones movie, but it's been in many movies, and it's a famous. When you see it, it's these big
Yeah.
pillars and like things carved right out of the rock there.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So I start this thing with the work as a dental technician for zircon, manual zirconium. Then after 1 year, I just opened my lab. I was just 23 years old.
Wow.
Yes. So everyone, also my family told me, you are crazy. You don't have any experience. How you can open your lab? How you can manage this thing? So I don't
Mm.
know. After the first 5 years are always difficult, yeah, in every part of the
Yeah.
world. I saw this logo scale of damaged goods in some part of internet on Facebook. So I get attracted
Mm-hmm.
from this logo. So I ask about this logo, and they have the page, they have the group. So I start to be attracted, and I ask about how to become a member. I saw all the good level, the high level of the dentistry, yeah, from different part of the
Yeah.
world, because also include dentists or include technicians from different part of the world. So I was just holding my mobile camera, my mobile camera.
Yeah.
So DTG, I don't know. I get inspired from them, so I bought my first camera. I bought the lens. I bought the flashes. I start also to bring good stuff material, some furnaces. So also I start with the new lab. So that was the cool point that in that time I reach or I believe in myself. I trust in myself that one day, I don't know when, to become a DTG member. So I don't know, maybe I came to 3 or 4 DTG symposium without being a member yet. Yeah.
Oh, you too. Wow.
Yeah. So, it's really difficult, especially from the first time. For example, from here, from Jordan to Utah, it's almost 37 hours. So you have to hear from Jordan to Chicago, 17 hours from Chicago
Sure.
to, it's a long trip. And I bought my first Mac to see also, to get inspired by those talented technicians, to see their lectures, to see everything about them. So after that, I work hard for it, and I don't know why until now. In my opinion, in myself, I'm still that same guy of the plaster room that just pouring impression. But people start to believe in me. People start to say until now that I'm good. But for me, I'm that same guy that pour impression. Yeah, yeah, because that's the point, to be simple as you can.
But the DTG kind of inspired you when you first started to kind of improve your quality, get better product, better material.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Also to get, not only the photos and the lectures, also you see the results. Especially, you have to be honest with yourself, the first thing. And also, I don't know, maybe other people doesn't see the mistakes that you make in your restorations. You have to be honest to see more mistakes than other people.
Mm-hmm.
So also, especially when you're working with some of your family member or parents or friends, that always you are seeing them, not only the patients that hit and go. Yeah. Because sometimes maybe you are making in your lab, you are working on your dental model, on a stone model, or nowadays with a scan printed or whatever.
Sure.
So you are making for you, maybe you are posting on Facebook or in social media and Instagram, and maybe she get, I don't know, 1,000 like or 500 like, but in the model. But in the end, the most interesting thing and the most important thing to see this result, to see what you do in this lab in the patient mouth. So my always advice is also to see your restoration in your patient mount, to improve and improve every day. That's the cool part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to forget. We post things online, get thousands of likes, but it really only matters about one like, and that's the patient.
Yeah, that's because also it's difficult because you have the patient, you have the dentist, you have the technician, yourself, you have the assistant, you have the friends of the patient. So it's not
Yeah.
so it's not easy to get everyone good. Because anyone have some comments. It's like that. Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion.
I remember also when I started in the lab, it wasn't like people were doing the crowns and no feedback. They didn't never see the patient, and I was like, no, I can't work like that. I was like, I need to see my work into the patient's mouth. So I started to say, okay, I'm gonna go for the try-in at the clinic. I'm gonna go see how it looks to improve myself. I was bringing back patient in the lab, taking photos, but it wasn't something that the owner at that time was doing, and I totally changed that way just because I wanted to do something like better, not only for on the model, like Firas said, like it's for the patient as well, and you want to improve yourself. That's the only way you can improve yourself, by seeing it in the patient's mouth.
Oh, for sure.
So, like, back to the photo thing at the beginning, Elvis, we used to tell everyone to get a camera and just start shooting your work for multiple reasons,
Mm-hmm.
not just to share and get likes, but so you could see your own work, through a macro lens, and you could be like, oh, wow, yeah, I need to improve that. I need to, I could get more incisal effects. I could do this, I could do that. So it wasn't only the networking on the group pages and stuff, that helps, but I mean, it does multiple things when to me, that's one of the most important things is get yourself a camera and start looking at your work up close like that. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, really, at that point, you can, really start to improve. And if everyone's doing that, then you see everyone else's work up in front. It's not about comparing yourself to them. It's taking little bits and pieces of the people around you, of the people that inspire you. And to be honest, like that's really where the social media really came into play and was really, became successful, is because I realized we could use it as a tool to like connect with each other and share each other's work. And it's not just, when I see a photo, I know I can ask Firas, I know I can ask Hugo anytime, how did you get that look? Like, what did you use right there? So we're not just staring at photos and hitting the like button. It's a way to educate each other and to overall raise the bar of what's acceptable as aesthetic dentistry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it all the time on the affiliate. It's people asking questions. It's people finding out the reasons. And I know for sure when I work, it's amazing. What I think looks great, I'll take a picture of it, look at it, and I'll find all the things I don't like about it.
Yes.
Even though the original's right in front of me, it's somehow when you put it in a picture, it becomes, I don't want to say realer, but just you view it different.
Yeah. And it's just like the easiest way to improve yourself, because you put it on the screen. I put it on my Mac, my big screen, and I'm like, okay, there is hair bubble, there is black dots, embrasures look like shit. And now you start to improve your work just by seeing that. And I was like, okay, if I put it on the big screen on the lecture, is it acceptable or not? And you don't want to present something like you see dots or bubble hair. I don't do any Photoshop on my photography, and that's something important for me. And I just try to improve my work to be like very like at the highest level possible, to just take photos and that's it. It's this is the work. There is no Photoshop on it.
Yeah, and some of the screens that you see at shows and symposiums, I mean, millimeters become feet.
Yeah.
And it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it really is. And you know what, those little tiny details that you think, oh, well, from a talking distance, you'd never notice that in the patient's mouth. I've heard that, but it's like, you do actually see it. It does make a difference, because somebody that pays close attention to those details, they do have the pictures in the mouth that you also say, wow, that looks incredible.
Yeah. So with the upcoming symposium, both of you, and of course, Vaughn, you'll be on stage, but you guys are speaking at the event. Is this your first symposium you're speaking at?
No, maybe for me, the second or third symposium.
Oh wow, nice.
DTG of the DTG symposium. But if you see me, actually, I'm speaking maybe 50, 40 times per year around the world. Nowadays,
in 4 different continents in 48 hours.
Yeah. It's really hard. In the beginning, I was looking for making this life, the life of instructor and traveling, and it's cool, and let's go, and I make some courses, something, but maybe few people really know that it's really a hard life. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like you're very like good to do it, because like me, I'm young. And I refuse like lectures and course when it's became too busy, I don't want like more than 6, 7 things like out of the business per year. Like it's too much. Like just going for a course, leaving the lab 5 days, going for a lecture. I try to balance everything, but I don't want to travel too much per year like you do, because for me, I think it's too much. But I congratulations on you to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you told me, Hugo. It's like when you say to someone congratulations and I'm pregnant, yeah. So it's really hard, guys, yes, because it's not only the way that you travel for a flight or whatever. It's when sometimes you should bring everything, so you have to have all your brushes, all your stuff. You
Yeah.
couldn't imagine how this thing is depress you, because it's always on your mind and everything. And especially for some countries, that for example Morocco, that I visit maybe 8 times in the last 4 years, it's not easy to return back for 8 times in the same country to give something in in this short period. So it's really hard. And what the guys are saying, Vaughn and Hugo, that photography for me, it's not only the picture that before and after. Yeah, because nowadays you can see in the social media, Instagram, that they are making very cool videos before and after. The most beautiful thing for me, it's to improve. For example, each case that I make here in the lab, I make 100, 150 photo to to know the exactly point when you have the mistakes, to improve your stages. Yeah, because it's not only the before and after picture. The most important thing to improve yourself, and after that you have your technique. For example,
Mm.
Hugo have his technique, Vaughn have his Vaughnier's technique. I have my technique that called the 4x4 technique. Yeah, that's the point to discuss as your radio station, your podcast benches. So different benches, different part of the world, different also techniques. That's the important. And more, believe me, guys, more you share, more your knowledge you share, free or with money or with courses or with the lectures, more it's come to you back. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
important thing. That's the important.
Like every time I go to a course, the like to give a course or lecture, the few days before I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like crazy. I'm too busy in the lab. Why am I doing this? Then I go, I do it, and then after I'm like, okay, that's why I'm doing this. Like the people are so grateful. You see that you made a change for them, or just bring up a sparkle in their profession. I don't know, but you can really see that you did something great. And after that, I'm like, okay, that's why I'm doing this. It's nice. Yeah.
It's also the sharing, because always, as you said, Hugo, for example, for me, when I have a 20 participant, I'm always saying that, guys, I just come here to give you my technique, but I'm the only guy and you are 20 guys. So I can also take from 20 people some experience from them
Yeah.
to improve myself. And believe me, each course, not improving them, also improving for me. Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
also
Mm.
to see different culture. For example, as Vaughn said, some of the DTG members or other guys that they are coming in this part of the Middle East and North Africa. In the beginning was really terrific, yeah, to telling someone that, okay, can we come please in Jordan or in Iraq or in Morocco or in Egypt. So people think different thing, but in the end, believe me, you can ask anyone, most of them, that they are coming here, that feeling really relaxed, and not only come once, they are coming and coming from different part. Yeah, that's the cool thing.
That's awesome. So, Hugo, what are you speaking on at the symposium? What's your topic?
I'm speaking on basically like my workflow, my daily stuff, and like what's the name of my lecture already? It's I can't remember.
I could probably find it.
No, I can.
Is it artistry, predictably driven, no
Yeah,
compromise? Okay.
that's right. So yeah, like I want to share a little bit of my workflow and all the steps that we do in the lab that is done without compromise. Because like when I started in the profession, like I know that my ceramic was good, but I was putting beside maybe some part of the work that were more important. And I learned that after when I got with my first clients. My first big clients was prosthodontists, and He's like one of the best in Canada, and I'm very grateful for that. But he, like, I was giving him like nice ceramic work, but I wasn't putting so much attention to the margin, to the fit, to the occlusion, and all of that.
Mm.
And then he very like put me on the track with that. And then
Prosthodontists will do that.
yeah, so he was patient with me, and he said, okay, you go, you need to correct that and all of that. And working with prosthodontists very drive me like right on track of all the workflow, that everything needs to be perfect and not only the look of the restoration. So it's all about that workflow and all the details in the work, all the precision, and to give the best prosthesis for every patient, and like something specific and personalized as well for every patient.
Yeah, I imagine you're probably going to touch upon, because you mentioned your lab tripled in size.
Yeah,
Tripling in size, but still keeping that
quality.
that quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's about keeping the quality. It's very important, and I needed to like put a little bit of like, how can I say it in English? Like, I need to teach my employees to do the things like I wanted to do it, like
Sure.
the way I do, and now I can like give them work, and I'm not worried about the quality, and it's like very about sharing and teaching my employees to do the things right. And I'm grateful for that, because I have very good employees now, and they can work, and like doctors can't even say if it's me or them. So that's the goal for me.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I don't want like to have everything on my shoulders. I want people to have the ability and the knowledge to do the things by themselves, and keep the quality very high in the lab. Yeah.
Not an easy task.
No, no. But just about when you want to leave the lab, you don't want to be worried that things will be bad, you know? When I leave the lab for a course or a vacation or something, I know there's people I can count on them in the lab to do the work, you know? I still do like the very complex and big case, but the daily cases I can let my employees do it, and like it's just very fun for me. I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
So when you're at the symposium, you're not going to be on the phone all the time with your lab, checking on stuff, making sure everything's being
Maybe
done.
a little bit, but not too much.
Firas, what are you speaking on?
Yes, regarding my my technique, I have a simple technique that you can start. Everyone can start. Also,
What'd you call it? The 4x4?
4x4, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this name is coming from I don't know, one of the the night shift where when you after 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Yeah, when you just realize that you have a lot of cases and a lot of important cases that also want to have the effect on it. Yeah, because they are paying also too much. So I have also to nowadays we have to work very very quickly. We are in this time. So my technique is simple. I was in this middle of the night. I just having 2, 3 powders or 4 powders that left.
Mm-hmm.
So I just use 4 powders colors. Yeah, for example, the clear, whatever brand, clear enamel, dentine, and opal. And you also have just four bears. Yeah.
Yep.
So and also you just use 4 colors for stains or for luster paste. So it just 4 colors, and also 4 bake, including also the internal stains, the first bake, second, and also the glaze. It's very fast, very easy, and you can see the result immediately also after glazing. And the most important thing that I noticed when I was, I don't know, before 15 or 20 years starting or improving myself to be a good ceramist, that every time I hold the brush when I get to use to work on a case. Uh, I didn't have any plans, or I didn't was very organized. So this thing is just to organize yourself, not having too much powder. For me, I hate the completely kit. Yeah, I never bought a
Yeah.
completely kit. Also, if other companies that give it to me by a gift, I
Mm-hmm.
I
Sure.
sell the kit. I just bring for powders. So for me, I don't want to get complicate myself. And the most important thing, I didn't remember when I hear about it, it's regarding that you should make some contrast in the teeth or structure that you are making. So it's like when you have a white board and you have just the black pen. So the contrast is to put the black and the white, the black and the white. That's the maximum contrast. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like just to organize yourself with those four colors to mix it together to realize together or in some percentage depend on the color. Because
Sure.
yeah, because for me, as I told you in the beginning, I was in Italy, and I was, the basic color in painting are just three colors: the red and the yellow and the blue. So all the other colors are coming from this just three colors. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the point, to just simplify your thing, because nowadays all the restoration are becoming more monolithic, just painting, and more relaxed for the lab technician. Yeah.
And you say you only use 4 burrs?
Yeah, just four burrs. Yeah.
I've never seen any technician's bench with only 4 burrs on it. More like 40
No,
different
no, no,
burrs.
no. Because if you walk in the street, you can see that some painters that they are drawing some painting. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
are just holding the white paper and just a pencil, and they can make very good imagine or very good painting with good details. So imagine if this painter have just four colors, also he can mix all the colors.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the point. And the most important thing, for example, you couldn't imagine maybe that a technician like me or the guys that holding the handpiece like the billiard stick. Yeah, there's no catalog that you should hold the handpiece with your right hand, and you should and also you have to I don't know how to say it, but to move your hand in the opposite thing that your mind said. So
Yeah.
that's why I told you that these things are coming after 2 a.m., 3 a.m. When sometimes, yes, really, really, when sometimes you are really very sleepy, and maybe you are making some faults. And imagine the next day, and you're making all the sequence of the photography of this technique. It's become a technique, this fault. Yes, that's the point for me. Yeah, it's coming by chance. No, no.
So, Vaughn, let's wrap up this conversation with all the details of the symposium.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we're looking at September, right?
Yeah. September 15th and 16th. Most people are arriving Thursday night sometime, just the show's going to start at, I think breakfast is from like 8 to 8:50 or something. Then I go on
Yeah.
and do an introduction, and so it starts fairly early. So there may be some that come in early and go straight. We always have a couple of those people, but yeah, so it'll just be there in Alsip. So Alsip's about like 25 minutes from the Chicago O'Hare Airport. And you
Yep.
could also fly into Midway, and it's a little bit shorter. I think it's like 10 minutes if you go to Midway, but they don't have as many flights and connections and things like that
Yeah, Midway is a smaller
that
airport.
O'Hare does. Yeah. So
It's in a suburb of Chicago. It's not like downtown.
yeah,
It's in a pretty nice
no,
area.
it's outside, yeah, and it is really pretty and nice and green and everything where we're having it. And but the GC facility is kind of in a bit of an industrial area.
Sure.
So we have several hotels that they have like a corporate rate with, and so that a lot of people are staying at the DoubleTree, which is 3 to 5 minutes, like up the road, maybe less, maybe just a couple minutes away from the
Yeah.
facility. And so, yeah, it's going to be, I mean, I'm just really excited, to be honest, to do another one. These guys like Hugo and Firas, okay, I'll tell you, I was real nervous when I decided to do it because I'm like, all those feelings came back and the pressure and everything. And
Mm.
a couple of the first people I asked if they would come speak, one of them was Firas, because Firas for me, like, he's always been there for everything, like he was saying, like he's being very modest, but Firas has always been there before he was a member, after he was a member, and he's one of these guys that, like, out of the blue will just, when I see him somewhere, he's always having ideas. He's having like, let's this is what we should do next, this is what we should do, we should have a booth here, we should go to this show, we should. And he's always so fired up and everything. He just gets me going where I'm feeling doubt and all those things. He really, like, gets me excited again about doing stuff. So
At 2 a.m.
about him, yeah, oh yeah, this guy, I mean, you could message him anytime. He'll be awake or he'll be flying somewhere and he'll still respond to you. But I knew for sure, I said, the first thing I'm going to do is ask Firas and Mitsu. He's another Mitsutaka, who's of course not on this show, but he was another guy that I messaged right away because I knew that both of those guys would say yes immediately, like that. Yes, we
Yeah.
will. And then I knew, you know what? At least I have two speakers, right? Like if no one,
It's a good
if
start.
everyone else says no, I got two speakers. And then with Hugo, I knew how busy he was, so I was more worried that he wouldn't be able to come because he's just so busy and he's on the lecture
Sure.
circuit now and everything. So I was really happy when he said, yeah, I'll do it. Because then, yeah, I think this is Hugo's first time speaking at a symposium. So really excited for it.
You remember one? Like, I text you first to say if you have a spot and you want me to speak, I can do
Oh
it.
yeah, yes. That's
And
true.
you said you were on the lineup. I was about to ask you, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true. I'm sorry, Hugo.
No,
I did know that you were busy, but that's true. If I remembering correctly, you did approach me and say, "Hey, if you need any help with that." So I was excited because I knew that Hugo had I said, "Yeah, it's about time we have you on." So yeah, I'm just excited, Elvis. I'm excited for the whole thing. Of course, there's still a lot to do in these last couple months now. It's getting close, and the time goes by
Yeah.
so fast, But it really, really helps having the facility. It helps having the support from GC. They have an event planner there, and she's just been wonderful. Her name's Angela, and we've been working with her because obviously I'm not there, so it's kind of a remote thing. But she's helping us out so much, and that took just so much of the load off that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it was just great. But I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about it, Elvis, and I'm thinking there's not a whole lot of shows you can go to like this, to be honest. And for $500, I mean, you have guys paying, $3,000 to go to like one, to see one guy, like at a
Mm-hmm.
course or something like that. And we're talking like you got all these speakers, you have all these hands-on where you go and actually watch them do it. So it's not pictures anymore. It's like I'm seeing Mitsutaka Fukushima build a crown like right in front of me, and he's explaining what he's using and things like that. And also the gum battle that we're having is really fun. We used to do the WMDA, we called it the World Mixed Dental Arts Competition, and we'd have a removables and a fixed division, and just had lots of fun with it. And with this gum battle, it actually came from Sophie Dallam, who's in France, who's coming to the symposium. We have a lot of people actually from all over the world coming to this. And I said, hey, do you want to do like a demonstration on gum? And she's like, well, what about like a battle between me and like some other girls or something like that? And I was like, whoa, wait a second, like a battle? She's like, yeah, like a gum battle. And that just like kind of blew me away. And I was trying to figure out how to include WMDA in this show because we only have 2 days where usually we have 3. And that's what really makes the competition work. But they're just like, yeah, with composite, just give me 1 hour, give me a model in 1 hour, and we just see what we can do in that time. So
is that the gum battle where everyone has the same model?
Yep.
They have the same composite. They have an hour to put the composite on.
They have their own composites. They can bring their own favorite
Oh,
composites and
okay.
whatever they want, but it is the same model to keep it fair, but they can do whatever they want
Sure.
on that. And so I'm just really excited. You can't really go anywhere to see something like that. Like people can go in, and we're actually going to probably have it filmed, like live, and then put out into the other parts of the facility so anyone there can watch, the competition. And it's just going to be, yeah, I mean, the food's going to be there. There's breakfast and lunch, and there's be like a cocktail party with hors d'oeuvres and all kinds of stuff after the second day. We have some, really well-known speakers, doctors. We have Ed McLaren coming. We have
Let's name drop some people.
yeah, oh
Absolutely.
yeah. So we have Klaus Mudertees is coming. He's just a long time, if you're like know anybody, he's one of the names that and he's like an artist too. He's kind of an eccentric guy, like everyone knows that, but really, really good at what he does. And he does like, he's a painter. He's like just a very artsy guy. And I met him in Morocco in Marrakech, which is another amazing like
with me,
trip
yeah.
that's for a whole nother time. Firas knows, he's been there 8 times, but like I went there one time and Klaus was there and we spoke on the same stage, and I was just blown away, first at the opportunity, but also in seeing his lecture and just how much he cares about the industry and everything. So I was really excited to get him to come.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just awesome speakers. We have a couple of oral design guys. We have Omer Pack is coming and from Germany, and then we have Paulo Batistella. He's from Brazil originally, but he's in LA doing some like high-end cosmetic cases down there. But
Yeah.
so that's great.
Josh Polanski, Ricardo Schaffer, yeah, a lot of
Yeah, Ricardo Schaefer from Argentina. He's a longtime DTG member. He's another one of these guys that get me so fired up because he's got so much energy. But he spoke at one of the first symposiums, but we haven't had him speak in a while. But he's coming. He's just an amazing speaker. He speaks really good English, and his work is lately, I mean, the stuff he's been doing is the same as everybody else. It'll just like blow you away. So
Nice.
there's really no end to what you're going to see, like the range of talent that we have too.
I love the fact that so many are from so many different countries. You never see this at a show.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that to me, that's fascinating. You get to see the technique in other parts of the world that you might not be able to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's really true. I'm excited. We have Jeff Dugray. We have Canada's really representing. We have three people. Shukri Kamali, who was mentioned by Hugo earlier, is coming to do a hands-on. Jeff Dugray, he's the Pantera Master Cup champion in one of the past years.
Oh, yeah.
And he's amazing. He's going to come. Josh Polanski and Lucas Lamont are coming. They work together now. They used to have separate labs, but they work together at Niche Dental Studio. And I'm excited to have those guys. Those guys are both incredible. If you've never seen their work, I love their approach to their cases and everything. And then, yeah, I mean, who else? Oh, Arian Deutsch and his wife Muriel. They're just such a joy to have anywhere. They're so knowledgeable and they work together every day. Like they're just
Absolutely.
never
Yeah.
apart. So like, it's really fun to have them on stage, and it's fun because they kind of let loose and they'll just kind of say whatever, especially at the symposiums, which I love because I'm like, look, you guys, this is not about companies. This is about you, the individual. We want to see what you're doing. What are your opinions? What are you experiencing?
Yeah.
And I love it because the people that really get that about the symposium, you do hear some things that are like, wait, did you just say that? It's like, yeah, because I can say it. This is the DTG symposium. So anyway, yeah, I really like that. And Mitsutaka Fukushima, I mean, this guy, the very first symposium that he came to, I got a phone call and it was from some customs in LA or something. And they're like, hi, is this Mr. Grow? And I said, yeah. He goes, we have a Mitsutaka Fukushima. He couldn't really say his name. We need an address. He doesn't know where he's going. Like, where do we send him? I'm like, oh, so I gave him the address of the convention center and they said, okay,
That's
we'll like send
crazy.
him on through. So it was like the customs, or immigration. Yeah. Something from, and it was just a random call. And it was like the day before the symposium. So Mitsu is like this fearless, doesn't care if he
That's
speaks
awesome.
good English or not. Like he was coming to the symposium, like no matter what. And so that just proved, I'm like, wow, this guy doesn't even, he just got on a plane and was like, coming, yeah, like I'm coming. And he couldn't really speak good. And his English is much, much better now, and he understands a lot now. But I mean, back then it was like he really didn't understand English at all. And he's like going to a country where he knows he's not going to be able to communicate with anybody. So just wild stories. I have endless stories like this, Elvis, and the most unlikely companionships and friendships that you just would never imagine. And it all came together through this group. And people
Yep.
don't realize, I wanted to clarify something too. You do not have to be a member to come to the DTG Symposium. We actually prefer that more non-members come to see what it's all about, to meet some of the people that they're seeing these pictures on the internet and things like that. But it's a misconception because it's labeled DTG Symposium. So I try to, on every post, say, this show is for everybody. Please come to the show and see what we're doing here, because you make more and more connections, and you know, the people that you've seen on the internet that you consider your inspiration, you're now shaking their hand, you're talking
Yeah.
to them, and you know them personally, and things change when that happens. You know, there's a difference there. So that's the feeling you get when you come to DTG Symposium. A couple of days after the symposium, you're still feeling it. I get people messaging me saying, man, I'm coming down off of this high that I had when I was at the show. Just all the people I met, I was so inspired. I'm going to change a few things that I learned there. I'm going to change them in my lab now because I found a better way to do something. I've been educated, or it's just, you have to come experience it to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, as a non-member, I'm going to be there, so I'm excited to experience it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited too. Yeah, Elvis will be there. Voices from the Bench will be representing there and have a booth there. So I'm sure you'll be interviewing people
I
at
hope
random.
to get some of these people. Yeah, there's some great talent to talk to.
Yeah, it'll be so cool. Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming.
Absolutely. So where do people go? They go to dtgevents.com?
Yeah, that's right. dtgevents.com has everything. It has, you know, where the venues located. I mean, the addresses of the venues, the hotels. We have links to the hotels, so all you have to do is click on them, and it takes you straight there to. It even has the booking dates and everything. You just go and sign up for it. You know, the corporate rates are really good. I think the DoubleTree that I mentioned, it starts at like $120 a night, which if you were just 25 minutes up into the city, you'd be paying $300 a night.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So it's like,
yeah.
So man, your whole 3 nights of a stay could be one hotel stay in the city. You know, like
for sure.
So all that information is there, and it's easily accessible there. So if anyone wants to know, I think even the schedule is posted, so you can see who's speaking, what hours, you know, it's happening. I mean, if there's anything else that's not on there, anybody that is friends with me and even not, just can message me or Jeff Hamilton or email me at vaughn@dtgmagazine.com. And yeah, I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. Hugo, Firas, great to meet you here on the podcast. Looking forward to meeting you both in person.
Yeah, sure. That was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming on the podcast, and we'll see you all in September.
Yeah, see you in September. Hopefully that Chicago will have a good weather, yeah? Not like Chicago up there, yeah?
It will be a lot better than Lab Day, trust me.
It should be good. Good weather. It should be good weather.
Because I'm coming from with a camel, guys, yeah?
This ain't February, so...
Okay. Might not be that hot.
Yeah.
Are you starting
Crossing
now?
the ocean on a camel?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you then.
Okay,
Have a
guys.
good one.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
A huge thanks to Vaughn, Hugo, and Firas for joining Elvis on the podcast. I'm really sorry that I missed it, especially since everybody was a ceramist. Mad emoji face right there. But I am even more excited to be going to the DTG Symposium on September 15th and 16th in Alsip, Illinois. Seriously, the amount of talent that will be in one room for 2 days for only $500 is truly amazing. So please come to this amazing event. Come record with Elvis and I. Pick up some tips, tricks, and skills that you cannot find anywhere else. Head over to dtgevents.com for all the details and to register. And hopefully we will see you there.
All right, everybody, that's all we got for you. We'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
Bye. Guess what? My headphones got unplugged.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God, that's funny. So it was you?